In Germany, there are rules for everything. Except Bruno, the first wild bear in 170 years. That made him a problem, and hunter Manfred, along with his dog Enna, reluctantly become the solution. As you follow this story, you'll get a real glimpse of German culture and learn 20 essential words and phrases, all naturally woven into the English narration. The vivid context anchors the words in your memory. No flashcards, no drills. Los geht's! A13. The Hunt for Problembär Bruno. 26th of June 2006. Es regnet in the Mangfall Mountains in southern Bavaria. Manfred crouches beside the spot Enna, his German short-haired pointer, is sniffing. Detects a bear track in the muddy soil. Bruno. The first such Tier in Germany in 170 years. Manfred looks down the slope toward Bayerisch Zell, where people leben and children spielen. If Bruno ventures that close to settlements, es is no wonder ravages chicken coops and mauls sheep. Curiosity killed the bear, Manfred sighs. Ich found a track, Manfred sagt into his walkie-talkie. Ihr are too far east. Manfred unfolds his Karte und examines it with a small flashlight. Let's regroup at the mountain stream up ahead. When Manfred draws near the mountain stream, hears rustling from the left. Paul S. und Thomas H. come through the undergrowth with their dogs. Wir are getting closer. Es regnet, but the footprint has not been washed away, Manfred sagt to them. Paul und Thomas grudgingly agree. Sie send their dogs ahead, following the scent. When the dogs reach the mountain stream, sie start pacing in different directions, snouts on the ground. Sie have lost the trail. There is a cliff on the other side of the stream that Bruno couldn't have climbed. Must be walking in the riverbed. But which way? Wir have to split up, sagt Thomas. Everyone agrees. Since Manfred covers the right side, goes downstream, while Paul and Thomas head upstream into the larger western areas of the Mangfall Mountains. Considering Bruno's trajectory, du will probably not run into him. Ich envy you, Thomas sagt to Manfred. Thomas's comment makes Manfred think long after they have parted. Thomas is the kind of hunter who hunts for the thrill und trophies. However, there will be no trophy und auch no boasting this time. Nichts. The public must never know wer has killed Bruno. Animal welfare organizations protest the government's decision to shoot Bruno, and death threats have been made. People romanticize nature, especially those in the cities. Fanaticism is not uncommon among Germans who feel they are in the right. It is usually trumped by obedience once the government decides on a course of action. But this time, the process has taken too long. The situation has become heated. Germany has no plan or legal precedent for wild bears, let alone for those who have proven too curious for their own good. The EU classifies bear as a protected species, but it is unclear where holds authority. The EU, Berlin, Bavaria, or local officials. This jurisdictional confusion has created a power vacuum. Environmental authorities wanted to follow EU protections. Conservationists called for relocation. Local officials, on the other hand, worried about the safety of their citizens and demanded lethal action, leading to a short-lived permission to shoot Bruno on sight. But public pressure was already too high. The shooting order was soon paused. The new goal? Tranquilizing and relocating Bruno. Yet these attempts were auch bogged down by bureaucracy. Specialized bear hunters had to be flown in from Finland, but it was unclear whether they were even allowed to enter Germany with rifles, trained dogs, and tranquilizer gear. Permits were slow, oversight was required, and Bruno moved faster than the paperwork. After the Finns gave up the hunt, the media harshly scolded politicians for their ineffectiveness. As a result, Bavarian Minister President Stoiber declared Bruno a Problembär just a few hours ago. Being a problem means you have to be neutralized. And wer has to carry out the will of the state? Ich und Enna, oder the unlucky bastards upstream. Enna interrupts his thoughts when she suddenly comes back toward him, which means he has found something dead. Since he hasn't retrieved it, it must auch be big. As he approaches, Manfred can identify the half-eaten carcass of a boar. Boars used to be the most dangerous Tiere in Germany. The thought that Bruno could maul one as if it were nichts sends a shiver down Manfred's spine. Takes out his Karte again. Es is only 1 or 2 kilometers to the border. If wir take as slow, maybe the Problem takes care of itself. After stalling as long as his conscience allowed, contacts Paul und Thomas. Ich found the trail. Can you flank it from the east? Manfred then signals Enna to follow the new trail. Follows her shape into the darkness. Loves dogs, und that includes auch Enna. Has chosen her for the hunt because she is least likely to attack Bruno. Wouldn't want her to end up like that Finnish elk hound. After the Finnish hunters had been flown in with elk hounds, she hunted Bruno for 2 weeks. However, Bruno kept evading them until the dogs could no longer tolerate the heat of the German spring. One of the dogs returned with a wounded snout from the last hunt. Es is unclear whether the wound came from Bruno, but the worry persisted. Enna is no elk hound, und Manfred shudders at the thought of what Bruno could do to her. Manfred is torn from his gloomy thoughts by a branch snapping ahead, a big one at that. Enna is now standing stiff and still, her eyes fixed on something in the bushes in front of her. Manfred readies his rifle and shuffles sideways to get a better view of the scene. A massive flag comes into view, followed by the rest of Bruno. Bruno displays his trademark curiosity, sniffing at the ground in front of Enna. If were a dog, it would look as if wants to spielen with her. Stop it, Bruno. Run if du want to leben. But Bruno doesn't run. Becomes silent, his body tenses. Manfred has no choice if wants Enna to leben. Steals his heart and pulls the trigger. Once, twice. The shot split the night, then everything is silent again. Wer has killed Bruno? It was ich, Manfred, reluctant but obedient. That was this week's part of our story series, where English gradually fades and German takes over. Each episode adds a few more words, and before you know it, you'll understand full sentences without even trying. Click the screen to jump to the next part, or let the playlist run and keep learning without any breaks. And if this method works for you, subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Bis zum nächsten Mal. See you next time.